Hi everyone, welcome back to CTN. My name is Elizabeth.
And my name is Onella, and here we like to have honest conversations about life and faith.
Yeah, brilliant. So today we have a special guest. We've been giving you guys some guests and we brought up some friends. We've got some great people on today. We've got Debbie and Jonathan. A round of applause.
Hey.
I should we're autopilot on our round of applause. Scary. So yeah, we've got them on and we're really excited to have them on because it's the beginning of the year and we have been watching over the past year this amazing couple share some amazing insight into their marriage journey, into their financial journey, and I think very transparent as well, which is really helpful because I think sometimes people just share the good bits, but these people share everything. So, or almost everything, you know what I mean? And it's really good. They shared, so I'm not going to do some spoilers, but they shared, so you kind of get to participate in their journey. So we'll give you their social media handles, but we have them here today to kind of give us some insight into the year. So yeah, Debbie and Jonathan, you are welcome. Welcome to the table.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes. Okay, another
fun fact.
Yeah. Let's do this.
So this is the part where Lizzie always talks about food.
I've been watching the episode, so I know.
She always talks about food.
The last one was the jam, bun, bacon.
Does that not sound crazy? Am I the only one?
That's messed up.
I was like, whoa, crazy. Anyway, I haven't tried it, so I can't say anything.
Thank you for showing that humility.
We do not need bun and cheese to be what's it called? Generified?
Wow.
Is that the word? We don't need it. We just don't need it. Yeah.
I'm putting small packages to all of your houses. Don't worry.
So today, the question that we want to ask is, what is the most outrageous thing you bought that wasn't a necessity?
I know. I bought an Adidas jacket, and it cost back then. It cost about 90 quid. Mm-hmm. And I literally only wore it once until it got dirty, and I was like, I'm not cleaning this ever again.
Oh.
So literally, there was like a black stain. I washed it; it wasn't coming off. I washed it again; it wasn't coming off. And I was
that was it.
This coat is gone. And I was like, I only wore it once in my life. I'm like, wow, yeah, £9.
That was a dream.
Was that recently or back in the day?
No, this was back in like secondary school times before.
Oh, okay.
£90 for a jacket in secondary. You are rich.
That's money right there, man.
That's money. Some of us were going to Primark and H&M.
I was going to say
copying them £10 hoodies.
Pimp soles for the win. We couldn't get the Vans, man, so we got pimp soles instead. Yeah.
Oh, wow. But yeah, that was my outrageous thing before marriage. I'll let my life.
Okay. I think for me, this is pre-marriage, but it still relates to marriage. Because I've literally been sitting here thinking, like, what outrageous thing have I bought, which I can't really think of. Because do you think I've bought anything crazy? I feel like I'm not that like crazy.
Disciplined from the womb.
Yeah, no, she's been honest.
But one thing that I have bought that was a bit on the pricey side was my wedding dress.
Yes, praise God. We were thinking the same thing.
I feel like that is acceptable.
No.
That's the only thing that came to my mind that I really like.
That right there, yes.
You might given us the price range, or was that under wraps?
No, it's okay. It was just coming up to the 3K mark. So yeah.
That's actually I don't think that's a bad price for a wedding dress.
Yeah. I've seen
wedding dress goes up to like 10K.
I mean, and that's ridiculous, isn't it? 10K.
I mean, if you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about relative
Anyway, I'm talking from my own pockets. Everybody has different pockets. They cut your coat according to your size.
Come
So
on.
that's the most I think one of the most
Outrageous things. Did you have you repurposed it, or have you just put it in tissue paper and put it under your bed?
In the cupboard, sitting there.
As a couple, what would you say is the most?
I don't know.
To be fair, I feel like because of the journey that we've been on, we haven't really been outrageous, if that makes sense. But I would say our laptop.
What? That's a necessity. Whoa.
I don't think. Okay.
So if it was a necessity, I don't think we'll be having this conversation today.
Outrageous. Okay.
I thought you were gonna say the 20 chicken wings, KFC.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That was my outrageous.
He has an obsession with KFC.
Man. The chicken wings.
He could eat that every day.
But it's beautiful.
It's not allowed in this house. So.
So your most outrageous thing that you can agree on as a couple is a bucket of 20 KFC chicken wings. I feel like you guys are gonna have some real gems for us today if that is the most extravagant thing.
No, we haven't. And to be fair, half of our marriage has been in lockdown.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's mainly food. I feel like during this time, the things that the bulk of our money we've been spending is food. For our anniversary, we went out to eat and we spent
I don't remember.
Probably like over 100 and something pounds. Just that was like we budgeted.
Yeah. Can we budget for that? Exactly. It's okay. It's okay.
But apart from that, I feel like
that's
wheeling it in during these periods of time. I'm interested to find out what you guys have spent.
The thing is, Adela, I've been watching Adela's face. And she said,
I am financially responsible. What are you talking about?
And I said, what should I share and what should I not share? Not that she's irresponsible at all, but I think she's just thinking, what extravagant spend should I mention here? She's very conservative as well.
Very.
What's it called? The why put your face like that? I would say the most extravagant spend I've done was recently, and that was buying my MacBook.
Oh.
It's
However,
a necessity.
It's a necessity. Some people will say, "How is that a necessity?" Like
it was a godsend.
A cheaper one.
Yeah, but the cheaper one might not meet all her needs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So this is the thing. I did a relative thing. I said, okay, I can get a cheaper one. But for me, I think it was the experience, the things that my MacBook could do, the things that I wanted to use it for, things like that. What else? Really? So was it a necessity? I guess there was an aspect of, I want it as well. But it was very crazy. It was very strange because I never wanted it till recently, and it was not on my radar at all. But I would say that's been my most, and I think that was like from 0 to 100 for me at that point. So I got that was my because I definitely think, okay, maybe some, could I've got a different model, but now that I've got it, I don't regret it. I've got it, I'm happy with it. Gives me satisfaction. Is that strange? But it helps to do what I need to do. It's very interconnected with my phone. That's just another thing that just gives me peace of mind. Everything's interconnected. So yeah, that has been my most extravagant spend in my life.
I've got something to say, but it's got nothing to do with what you spent. But do you remember for your 21st?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
What?
We were at a restaurant and somebody gifted you.
Yes. I actually thought about that. I thought about that.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I know, right?
Wow. Sorry, yeah.
I know.
Sorry,
I thought about that.
I didn't spend that.
Sorry.
No, I didn't spend that.
You did it. I didn't say you did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I remember that time being shocked. I was thinking that kind of luxury is something that was beyond. the capacity of sense in my mind.
Let's keep it a buck. The aunties that were there were like, okay, Louis Vuitton. They were all like, oh, okay, that's nice. And then everybody else was
And I
like,
was like,
oh my God. And all the aunties were just like, oh, these are nice shoes.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't deserve it.
I don't
How did you
deserve it. I was just about to say that. But yeah.
That was
It was
crazy.
such a funny day. My dad said, for shoes? For shoes? I just was not impressed. But yeah. And then over to you.
I've been trying to think, because I believe that everything that I have in my life is a necessity.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm really trying to think. I buy a lot of tech stuff. And they're all necessities. But I think the most recent thing that I bought that wasn't necessarily pricey, but I really didn't need it. I bought another tablet just so that I could have a ebook reader.
This one is not necessity, man.
It wasn't a necessity at all. It was not. But it was like Black Friday, and I was just like, treat myself. The worst thing about that is, literally about 2 weeks later, I ended up buying another tablet. But this tablet was for an actual purpose, because I used this tablet for my illustrations. So that tablet actually had a purpose. So when I look at the tablet that I bought before, I think it's in the glove compartment of my car right now.
So about 1K is just chilling in that compartment.
It wasn't 1K. It wasn't 1K.
Oh, it wasn't 1K. More than 1K. Oh wow.
No, it wasn't more than 1K at all. I would have had to make it work. But I've been looking at it and I'm thinking, I'm gonna give it to like one of my little ones so that they can use it, because I ended up buying an iPad and that one is actually purposeful. So the other one's just sitting there doing nothing. And I was so excited about it at the time. I'm gonna get back into reading. I don't have to buy any more physical books. Yay! And then 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, okay. I got a shinier one now. So I think that is the most. That and everything that I bought when I was going through my videography phase. Every single softbox, every camera lens, I wish I could go back and just take all my money back.
No. Okay.
Huh?
Sell them.
I could sell them, but then I'm also a hoarder. So herein lies the problem.
Brilliant.
I really think that is a interesting way, because we're going to be talking about finances today. And the first thing that I want to ask you guys is, how would you define financial health? What does it look like to be healthy financially?
It's a good question.
Well, it's really good ideas.
I think you can, theoretically, I think when we sometimes think about financial health, we think about financial independence and that type of, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't need to depend on anyone for my income, or do you know what I mean? But I also think that you can be financially healthy at different stages of your life, if that makes sense. So right now, I would say, let's say someone's still at the stage of working, I would say financial health would be ensuring that, you're not deep into debt, because that means your money isn't yours, basically, it's to somebody else. And I would say as well, having savings in case anything comes up so that you can cover those expenses. And a big part of financial health is managing it. Having a budget is fundamental. Like, if you speak to anyone who's financially healthy in whatever sense that you might relate to, I guarantee they have a budget. Even and as well, if you think about a business, if you think about, you know, Virgin, oh, I don't know if I can mention business, but if you think about a good flourishing business, if you go into their account team, they will definitely have a budget. So why can't we as individuals implement that same principles to our lives? But yeah, what about you?
No, definitely a good point. Like financial health, it's you being able to monitor how you are financially, and it's one where one's able to look after themselves, but at the same time be able to bless others, because that shows that you're a stabilized person. You know where your money's at, you know where your money's going, and at the same time you are not worried about, I can't give what I have to others, because that shows that you're more than a healthy person. You're even wealthy because you're able to give. Because it's so easy just to think, oh, this person has so much money. But what's the point of having so much money in the whole wide world where you can't even bless others with that money? You see where I'm coming from? You just become a selfish millionaire. You see what I mean? So that's what we try to demonstrate and actually teach to others. Like, you know, it's not all about having all the money in the world. It's good, but if you can't bless others and help others to reach to their good financial health, then what's the use of having that? And how are you really financially healthy? Because it's not about, because when we're physically healthy, it's not only good for us, it's good for other people, because when we're communicating to them with a healthy mindset, with a healthy body, they'll be also benefited by that. So it's not just us being benefited, it's also for other people. And that's what it is about financial health. It's about being able to look after yourself, which is good, but at the same time, with what you have, you're able to give to others so they can also be helped.
I like that.
That's a word. That's a word.
I
think it's fantastic that you mentioned like an aspect of a financial crisis for somebody is their lack of capacity to give, which is crazy, because it's just very crazy, because I think again, like you were saying, usually you have, if someone has a lot of money and they're well established, and let's say they've even got all the investments, they've done everything, but they have a lack of a capacity to give, then they're not well financially, kind of thing, which is, you know, kind of mind-blowing. So I guess, you know, if somebody is like, let's say in a financial crisis, or they're trying to kind of stabilize their financial health, what do you think are the ways that people can become financially stable? Let's say somebody's like, okay, you've mentioned giving, definitely, but let's say you mentioned things like debt, and you mentioned things like savings and things like that. What are the steps people should take to ensure they are financially stable? That makes sense.
No, definitely. No, because it's really important to understand these things. And I guess at the first moment, like when you realize you're in financial debt, I think that's a good start, because not a lot of people realize they're in financial debt. They see financial debt as financial success, or yo, I got money, but at the back of their minds, they're knowing that I actually got to pay this money off. But I'll just give a few tips, and probably you can add to them. The first thing, you know, if one wants to get out of the financial crisis or financial debt, is to realize how much money are you in debt. Because when you know how much you're in debt, it will help you to the next step of, okay, how much can I pay off? You see where I'm coming from? For a basic example, all right, Bob, you know, he's £1,000 in debt. He knows that for sure. And he needs to pay this debt by the end of the year. Cool. He knows that he's getting 2K as his normal income on a monthly basis. So what he can do is, with all the other expenses he may have, he might just have about £100 to pay off the debt every month. So if he does that, put in his budget, so there's still step 2, knowing how to pay it off, put in his budget, I want to pay off this debt £100 at a time per month. By the end of the year, he'll probably be paying that off after 10 months, because £100 times 10 months is 1K. So then once he's done that, the first step is to now, how can he make sure he doesn't repeat that step again and be in that financial debt? Because that will show him that he has learned that he can handle his debt. He's given himself hope that he can pay off his debt. And he's given himself a lesson that I can actually not stay in financial debt, but come out of it, and now has a story to tell to other people. So it's one of the ones where you have to be real with yourself. Us human beings, you know, We don't like being totally honest unless we're in the dark all by ourselves. And not only that, I'll even add a fourth tip. If you know you're struggling and your money is going all over the place, you don't have any savings, you don't have an emergency fund, ask help. You know what I mean? I know we live in a world of, individualism where everyone's just on their own, but we weren't created like that. We were created to be with each other. We were created to meet other people. We were created to help each other out. So even with me, I needed to come out my individualism self back in the days, because I was a guy where I didn't want to share my savings. I didn't want to share that I was struggling. But once I opened my mouth, the amount of hands that were willing to help me out, I was like, wow, like this is amazing. Like, why did I open my mouth before? So it's one of the ones where, one, know where you're at with your debt, know how much you got. Two, set a plan in place to pay off that debt as soon as possible as you can. And three, once you paid off that debt, make plans to make sure you continue to build your wealth instead of owing other people money. So yeah.
I would say I'll speak from a perspective if someone's not in debt. So I would say definitely just analyze your situation, because you can't move, you can't go anywhere if you don't know where you're currently at, similar to what Jonathan has said already. So analyze, like, have a good look at your bank statement, see what you're spending your money on, see if you are fortunate during this time to be making an income, see how much that is, and then just maybe tally a list of how much. This is what a budget is basically. Tally a list of all your expenses and your income, and then see the difference. And your expenses are your necessities. This is not, oh, I need to go and buy a Louis Vuitton bag. This is I need to put food on my table. Do you know what I mean? I need to pay my electricity bill so that the bailiffs don't come and knock on my door. Do you know what I mean? So, and if you have a car, your petrol, all that stuff, all that good stuff, make a list of those expenses and see what that total is, and see what your total income is. If then you can see, like, is my income actually covering my expenses, or is my income too low that it's not covering my expenses, or is it that I've got so much money left that I can cover all my expenses? So that at that stage you can really see, like, truly what is happening with your finances. Then to go into the next step, what do you desire? Do you know what I mean? Because you can't do anything if you don't have a desire in this area. Because some people just live life just because they've never actually thought, oh, actually financially, what do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? It's never been a thing before. So maybe do some research, what other people are doing with their money. Think about your values, your desires, your purpose for life, all those things. They tie up into how you use your money as well. So once you know those things, then you can then say for example, that person, I don't know, this is so random, wants to be a musician, for example. They can then, let's say this person has surplus money, which means extra money after they've covered their expenses. They can say, okay, I want to start making music. They need to find out how much that will cost, blah, 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 and then put a certain amount each month, or even if they have it, boom, just like that, they can dedicate a specific month and say, okay, that leftover money I'm going to do with that. But reel it back, actually, before they do that, we advise to definitely have an emergency fund. So an emergency fund is basically a savings account where you have £1,000, depending on your stage in life and your income. But the average, what financial advisors, we're not financial advisors, by the way, but what financial advisors say is to have £1,000 in your account, and then the same account, or you can put it separate, it doesn't really matter, but have 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. And let's say hypothetically someone's expenses are £1,000 for the month, right? So that means you times that by 3, that would be 3,000 to 6,000. Whoa, 3 to 6,000 pounds in that savings account. And that means that you have expenses covered for that. So then you can start doing all the other rest of the stuff that you want to do. So that's kind of like basic introduction as to people who are in a crisis or not in a crisis.
So, sorry, piggybacking off what you guys have just said, I've just thought about some of the things that I've heard about you have to have some form of I don't know if there's I can't think of another word for it, but some form of debt in order to build your credit. So there is this statement that in order for you to get on that ladder, you know, you have to be how does that play and what do you think about that?
Shall I answer?
Yeah. Go for it.
I feel the fire in you already.
Go for it.
There are I feel like there's two schools of thoughts with this, right? So if you listen to someone like Dave Ramsey, he's like, cut up your credit cards, you don't need any credit score, blah blah blah, right? So he's like cold turkey, don't even put your finger in it. Do you know what I mean? While some other people can still budget and they still use credit cards, but because they budgeted and they know what, and they have self-discipline, they know that I'm only going to spend £50 on this credit card and they already have the money and pay it back, then they do it like that. So I really think with this area, it's going to be like for the individual to assess themselves. Some people, they can't handle a credit card or they can't handle debt, right? So they just know, actually, I know I'm not very good at this, so I'm gonna just go this way. Yeah. Some people, they have more self-discipline, self-control, so they can say, actually, maybe I have this much to spend on the credit card and that's all I'm gonna do and that's it. So I think with this area, it's very individual. You have to decide as an individual, and also you have to see what's best works for you, because sometimes, like with a house, not every, like with like in this country, you need like a credit score to get like a car, if you want it on finance, for example, if you want to buy a house. And it does help because the higher your credit score, the more flexibility you have with your borrowings and all those things. So I don't know if that answers the question properly, but I think I don't want to just say, no, cancel it out, because some people are doing it and it's working for them and they're not in debt, if that makes sense. So I guess I should give an example how you can use credit and debt without being debt. So for example, so like if you're on your phone contract, that helps you build a credit score as long as you pay it on time, right? Let's say you have a car, if you buy it outright, but your MOT and your road tax, those, if you pay that monthly, those things are helping to build up your credit score. Yeah. And like as well, if you do have a car and you do have it on finance, as long as you're paying it monthly or on time, then you are building your credit score. But with Dave Ramsey, he's like, don't do that because you end up paying more because of the interest and stuff. So you just have to calculate and see like what you personally want, what financial journey you want to take, basically.
No, definitely.
Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does.
No, I'm just saying that in that question, it just shows, not saying that you're that personally asking it, but one person, to them, they just think that credit card is the only way to build up my credit score, and that's a fat lie of the enemy or whoever said that. Yeah, that is a fat lie, because I definitely know before credit cards enter this world, people were still able to buy houses. You know what I mean? People were still able to buy cars and that. Yeah. So you need to actually be able to, again, it's all about education. Expand your horizon on this. Be like, all right, if credit card didn't exist in our day and in time, what else can I build up my credit score? And you know, Deborah mentioned it, you know, any contracts you have, whether it's phone, your car, you know, utility
the
bills,
election roll,
you know, the election roll, put your name on that. That builds up your credit score, you know what I mean? Because it is giving details to these finance companies to see that, this person is able to pay on time.
And they're legit.
You see what and they're legit. So when you do get a mortgage from the lender, they got hope. It builds up the lender's hope and confidence. Because think about it. You got person A, they've been paying their debt or their contracts, 6 months late. And they're asking you for a mortgage so they can buy a house. But person B, they've been on time with their payments and they ask for a mortgage. Who are you going to go with? Person B, of course. So it's one of the ones where it's about being, having that stability with your finances, that you are, because when you're paying someone on time, and we probably all got different experiences, when someone pays you on time, you feel respected. Am I right or am I right? When someone pays you on time, even they paid you 1 month before the deadline you agreed on, you still respect it. You're like, wow, you value me. Wow, like you actually didn't violate me this time. Like, okay, now I can trust you for the next time. This is how the lenders are thinking, and these mortgage lenders are thinking. They're thinking, yo, the way you treated these other lenders and you treat them badly, I don't want that risk.
Yeah.
So that's why certain people get rejected for mortgages, because their financial health or their financial lifestyle is looking poor.
Not even mortgages, but just anything.
Yeah, just anything, you know. Even if you're applying for a credit card.
Yeah.
And then some of them are a bit greedy and like, you know, this person, they can't really look after one, so we just give it to them and get the interest off them. There's some greedy people out there.
Yeah.
So they don't even care about your financial stability. If they know your swag and they're willing to take that risk, they're gonna make money out of you.
Yeah.
So it's about, you know, thinking that there's other ways than credit card to build your credit score. So guys, don't be fooled, man. Don't be fooled. Please don't be fooled. But again, I'm not saying you can't get a credit card.
Fair enough. Both
That's
sides
a
of the
very
coin.
thing to go into because there's so many ways in which you can look into that. But yeah.
No, real good. I really like that. And I think it's an important kind of discussion to have, especially the availability of credit is crazy. So if you go on ASOS now, you've got shout out to all your credit brands. I was going to start shouting them out, but let's leave it there. So, I mean, credit is available, I'd say. And so at a very young age, people can quickly get into debt, not understanding what debt is about. And I think I value what you say in terms of the discipline. You have to understand what kind of person you are. So I know some people that they will finance something, but they have budgeted for the interest because of, they do a cost benefit analysis kind of thing in terms of needing something now. And then, okay, if it's going to cost me £100 more, I'm fine with that because I'm not seeing it as just interest, but merely a package of I need it now and I'm willing to pay it off over a period of time. Fair enough, whatever. But I think it's important to highlight just in terms of being able to I've asked this question before, but
no, we'll come back to that though.
okay, yeah. So but having the capacity to be able to understand, just having a really a bit more thought out process about the availability of credit. I think for me, it's been kind of like crazy just in terms of how available credit is, you know, to a lot of people. Without even some of the necessary checks. It's just basically buy now. It can be literally, and it's crazy. It's just, it can be something on ASOS, like a t-shirt and pay it off in 3 months. It's just, just like
ridiculous.
Those things have come about during this time, and I don't remember seeing them before, like during this pandemic. I don't remember seeing like on clothing sites and stuff like that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was being rolled out slowly because I remember probably about 1.5 years ago, if you buy, I always buy things using PayPal because I don't trust people. So when you go on PayPal, there was about probably 1.5 years, 2 years ago, PayPal started to give you the options to pay for your purchase in installments. So they've been slowly kind of testing the waters and rolling it out. Like,
they went full blown during this
time.
Which is
strategic.
I think it's the age. Go ahead.
I was saying this is why financial education is so important, because now it's like so many people how many people don't have a job or are not earning their full salary, and if someone goes and starts doing those things, they can accumulate so much. So then when we're out of this crisis now, they have all of that on their back. And whose door would they be knocking on? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I guess this ties in with my next question. I want you to touch on, well, you said that you're going to, before I ask this question though, you said you're going to touch on something about what I said about planning for your credit.
Yeah, you were talking about, it's basically the idea that I've done the cost analysis and I need it now, so it's okay. But do you really, really need it? Like, is there a way you can work around it? Do you know what I mean? Is there a way that you can? And I think the issue with debt is mostly impatience. And not only issue with debt, but money issues, because we have this desire that we want things now. Do you get what I mean? And I think that is what causes people to be in certain financial situations, and lack of knowledge, purely that as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So that brings me definitely now. You've done it. But in the next question, which is, how important is it to educate yourself? So books, like, I want us to talk about books. I have been watching your stories, so I know some people are reading books on investment at the moment. Yes. Stalking you guys. And so but how important is it to kind of facilitate your financial education? Can you guys recommend any books? How important is it, and what kind of books would you recommend reading and things like that?
Yeah, and with financial education, for every baby that come out of their mother's womb, bruv, as soon as they learn 1, 2, 3, they need to be learning investment, savings, and budgets. Big man thing. Because by the time you're 20, it might be too late, mate. Oh, it won't be too late, but it might be. I'll say it might be too late in the sense that
compounded interest.
There you go. You know what I mean? That compound interest that they could have been generating from the age they were 0 to 18. You can be a millionaire by the age of 18. Big man thing. Like, I'm saying this because I've read books and I've done research, and I'm like, mate, I did a calculation. I was like, mate, when my first child is born, you are getting an investment, mate, ASAP. But yeah, that's how important financial education is, because if you're not taught as early as possible, you just, I can't, what's the word?
There's still hope.
There's hope. There's hope.
We weren't taught from when we were born.
Therefore. But it's just like, this is how serious it is. It's financial education is so serious that it's more important than algebra. I'm saying that with confidence, mate. Yeah, and I'm saying right now, I have not used algebra since I was banging it out since A levels and GCSEs. I don't know what algebra has probably helped me with times, but apart from that, mate, investment should have been the first thing I've learned when I was young. But thank God, there's still hope for some in our age that we can still learn investment or still learn savings and all these other things about financial education, because it will help you to teach you that life. How can I say it? It will help you to teach that it's not always the rich that are the cause of your poverty.
Wow. Okay.
And I say that because in a place from living in a council home, growing up, with, family money issues, I was thinking, nah, man, these rich people, blood, like they're stingy, bro. Why don't they come help us poor people? Why they're always living a life and going to these places? Not knowing that, fam. If you read these legit rich people stories, you understand the things that they went through. You understand what their parents have put in place so that they can be in that financial success or that financial stability. And when I did that, I was like, yo, it makes sense. And look at me pointing the fingers when I got other fingers pointing at me, asking me, what are you doing, mate? You're busy complaining when you're not putting some plans in place or making changes, which some human beings are scared of. So that's the importance of financial education. Moving on to, books to check out. There's one book which you probably know is called The Intelligent Investor. Mate, even though it's thick, I think it's more thicker than one of these Harry Potter books, which I've never read. But I was like, this book, even though it's thick, is worth so much of your time. So it's talking about, in a nutshell, it gives practical tips and good, legit researches on how to make investments and the importance of investment, and even including, how to pick certain stocks. And it shows you that, investment is not a game. Investment is for the long run. Investment is building that wealth at a steady pace where it's not taking much of your time. We don't need to be checking your investments every single day. And it shows you, these are the things where these are the differences between a wealthy investor and a poor investor, because there's investors out there where they're doing crazy mistakes and they're just building up so much losses. And there's intelligent investors where they're not worried about the market, they're not worried about all these people saying, yo, buy now, sell now. They're like, no. My aim is 20 years later from now, because I'm trying to be a billionaire in the next 20 years. Here I'm coming from. And then when I retire, boom, I can chill. And then my investment will still be giving me income because I'm getting the interest on a monthly basis. So that's The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. Grab that. But if you want a simplified one where it's not too much research, but has some research and evidence and some practical tips, then The Boggerheads by Jack Bogle.
Do you want me to get the books
You got it?
so you can see?
You know who it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
This book literally gives a story how there's a investment company called Vanguard, and it gives a little story of how it was built and what did they do with it and how it's flourished. And mainly they gave the opportunity for individual investors to invest in index funds. And that's literally you being able to invest in a fund which tracks, for example, the FTSE 100 returns and market prices. And yeah, man, like the evidence is just beautiful. Like it gassed me up. I was like, how do I not know this stuff?
So this is what the intelligent investor looks like. That's
Wow, yeah, it's big. That's a big book.
sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Sorry.
Yeah.
I saw the side. It's
I told you. It's
That's what I saw.
We're getting
To
there.
be fair, this book is just it. I haven't read that one, but this one, I read this one and I munched it and it was very good. I feel like it gives if you're not you're not into finance
Yeah.
or anything, you're not educated in finance. So we did finance, but to be fair, we learned these things, but some of it we learned like this much of it, but for a business side,
That's
we
it,
didn't
yeah.
learn it for personal side. So when I was reading, I was like, oh, is this what it meant? but now and I think as well, because now I'm more interested because it's to do with me. And this is another thing why financial health is important, because no one else is going to be more cautious or more interested in your financial health than you will be. So that's how important it is. It's so important for us to educate ourselves. So this book is The Bogle Head. They also have 2 other books about investing. This is another book that we've read. This is a good book. He'll basically kick your butt in gear.
Yeah.
so yeah, those are a few of the books that those are the main books that we've read. Well, I haven't read
Still
them.
got more to come, but
Yeah. But yeah, it's really important. Especially if you're not taught it, if you don't come from a background of where sorry. Oh. I
No, we're
thought you-
agreeing with you. No,
We're agreeing. We're agreeing.
We're absorbing.
We're agreeing.
No, I was just saying it's so important because and as well, the Bible teaches us to a good man leaves wealth for his children, right? And how many of I'm not trying to shade our parents, but I don't know how many of them will leave something tangible for us, right? And so it's important for us to it's just wisdom. You know, the Bible teaches us that I know God was talking about his people lacking and perishing, but that scripture changed my life in because I'm like, if I'm lacking in an area, it's because I don't have knowledge about it. Simple fact. And and same with finances, if you're not financially knowledgeable or stable, you can have the knowledge and don't do anything about it. To be fair,
if you're not financially practical, there that's even a word.
Yeah, if you're not healthy financially, learn about it and practice it, and you will see changes basically. So yeah, it's very important. We believe in it.
Hi everyone, we're really excited that you made it to the end of part 1 and super excited for part 2. You can find out more about part 2 on our social media platforms, where we'll be releasing the release date pretty soon. But we hope that you enjoyed this round. Please don't forget to follow us on @CTN_UK. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. Soon we'll be tweeting. So have a great time, guys, and keep your eyes peeled for part 2.